Hey everybody, we're looking at question number 2 from the practice test, which, believe it or not, a lot of people get this one wrong. And the reason they get it wrong is because they're not thinking about which variable is the independent variable and which variable is the dependent variable. So let's take a look. Delia purchases fabric to make costumes. The total cost C of the fabric is 3 times the number of yards of fabric N. Which equation gives the total cost C of N yards of fabric? So I think what's confusing about this is the fact that they're using the variable C and they're using the variable N, and we have to figure out what depends on what. So does the cost depend on how much fabric we're using, or is it the other way around? Does the amount of fabric we're using depend on the cost? So give that some thought, and hopefully you realize that it's really how much fabric you order is going to affect the cost. So this would be the independent variable and this would be the dependent variable. Not a bad idea also to write the words. So see how they say cost C? So let's just put that over here so we keep track. And N is standing for the yards of fabric. So let's just put that here, yards of fabric. All right, now what you want to think about is you want to think about hypothetical yards of fabric that you might order to help your brain know what's going on here. So I could order 1 yard of fabric. I could order 2 yards of fabric. I could order 3 yards of fabric. Now it does say here that the cost of the fabric is 3 times the number of yards of fabric. So times means multiply. That means that we're taking this and multiplying it by 3 to get this, which of course would be 3. It means I'm taking this, multiplying it by 3 to get this. And it means I'm taking this number, multiplying it by 3, and I would get this. So now we have to figure out, we know that 3 times means multiply, so we're not going to pick anything that has add in it, right? Because we didn't say anything about adding. So that means choices C and D are off the list. But look at choice A and B. They're very similar to each other because they're both talking about multiplying the number 3 with a variable. That's why it's so important that you know which is the independent variable, which is the dependent variable. So what number are we actually multiplying with 3? Well, if we're saying that this stands for N, we're doing N times 3 to get C. Again, let me say that again. We're doing N times 3. So let's put that here. N times 3 to get C. Now, which answer choice goes with that, right? And if we substitute in the values, right, 3, 3, 3, and substitute in this 1, and substitute in this 2, and substitute in this 3, see, that makes sense because the cost is 3 times whatever the yards of fabric is, right? This is 3 times this is 3 times this. So we got to go with choice B on this. Make sure you know how to do this for the test. Make sure you understand how to identify independent and dependent variable, because failure to do that will leave you lost on which of these 2 choices to pick.